Hello, I'm Master Peter, and I'm making this video to help white belts understand what to expect from their first test and to review the techniques and the terminology that you'll be responsible to demonstrate in order to attain the rank of your yellow belt. But first, let's talk about some test etiquette things, starting with how to get ready, how to put your uniform on. So I'll undo my uniform here and put my belt down just for a second, and I'll have another video in the near future here that'll talk about all the different ways to tie your belt. So we'll just go over the quick down and dirty way today. When you put on your training uniform, and in Korean we call this a dobak, what you're going to notice is that the outer lapels have little ropes and the insides have little ropes on both sides. So you begin with your right side outermost rope, the end of the lapel. And you're going to take that and fold it across you and tie that to the inner side on the left, just like a shoe. Then you take your left lapel and fold it around with the outermost rope again, going to the inside rope from the right side, and tie it again just like a shoe. Now you're almost all set and you're ready for your belt. And again, there's lots of different ways to tie your belt, but this is the down and dirty way that'll get you through most situations and is a quick, easy way to tie your belt. The first trick is to find the middle, and that can be done by taking the ends and holding them together and then just zipping down and getting the middle of the belt. That goes on your belly button. Then you fold the belt around and cross it behind you. It doesn't really matter which way, but put tension on it and keep it tight. You can adjust it here again in a minute. Then you take the right side and fold it around in front as if there is an invisible belt buckle there. Then the left side comes around, and now you have all three layers tucked up in the middle like there's an invisible belt buckle. This outermost layer comes up and under everything. And now you can make any kind of minor adjustments that you want. The top layer, there's one that comes out of the top and one that comes out of the bottom. You hold the top out like it's a diving board. Then the bottom layer folds underneath it, and the top layer tucks up and under. And when you give it a good snap, the belt should come out of the sides, and the knot should be around everything. That's a good knot. If you tie this backwards, what's going to happen is the bottom flap is going to look like it's a bow tie coming straight down, and students will try to adjust it and pull it so that it's coming out of the side, but very quickly it just hangs again down. The good news is you only need to undo and cross the last part. So you undo it, I pinch this in the incorrect position, undo that, switch this, just switch it, and then finish the knot again, and there you go. Coming out of the sides, the knot's around everything, and you are ready for your test. Let's go over a couple of more test etiquette parts. When you are given your test form, again, if you could make sure that on the bottom part, the parents have filled out the home rules. We don't need a copy of the home rules contract, but we do need parents, for any student that's under 16 years old, to fill out and explain where they're doing good at home, where they need some work at home. It's a chance to either brag up what the student is doing or reinforce some behaviors that need to have some work. Make sure that the top part is filled out with your name, your current rank, which for those of you watching this video should be white belt, and your belt size. And the rest of this will be filled in by the judges during the test. Okay, during the test time, the good news is you don't have to go first. White belts will get to watch the yellow belts and the senior yellow belts test, and they'll see an entire test start to finish before they're going to be asked to demonstrate their techniques. So what you'll see is that students are going to be asked to never turn their back to the judges' table. So when I approach the judges, of course, that's not a problem. But when I come back to where I need to be, you don't want to turn your back on the judges. You want to walk backwards. Now, of course, you can turn your head over your shoulder to see where you're going, but you never want to turn your back to the judges. When you hand your test form to the judges, you always want to accept and give papers with two hands, never just one hand. Two hands, and you want to turn it so that the judges can read the form. Then it's just all about respect. They don't have to turn it or mess with it. You're giving it to them right away so that they can see clearly the information. So what you would do is you would hold your test form in hand, you would walk up to the judge at the table, hand it to them with two hands, bow, take one step back from the table, bow, and move back to your position in line. The techniques that you're going to be asked to demonstrate, you'll see, are just like the techniques that we practice in the weekly classes. And the order in which we ask you to demonstrate them will also be very similar to the order in which we practice the warm-up and the basic techniques in the weekly classes again. So most of the time you would be doing this starting towards the judges, but for the sake of the video, I'm going to turn around towards the camera. Okay, and I should do everything backwards so that you see it on the right and the left. This is my left, but your right. So bear with me, don't get too confused. If I need to make a differentiation about anything, I'll turn around and let you know which is right and which is left. So, 준비, Tae Kwon Do. Forced motion is riding horse stance, punching attack. You're always going to aim with your left hand, set your right hand back, aim, punch with a key up. Each punch will have a key up, and that will be kimajase gongyok, riding horse motion, punching attack. After a few punches, we'll ask hadan maki, lower block. The hand that was punching to the middle is going to drop down slightly. The hand that's on the hip always does the next technique. So from the punch, you're going to drop down, the hand comes up to your ear, and you block, down block, with a key up again. Hadan maki. Then your next block, this hand slides over. The hand that's on the hip always does the next technique, comes up to your ear, blocks. Hadan maki. Each technique, of course, will be with the key up. From hadan maki, you'll go to sangdang maki, upper block. This is the trickiest transition in riding horse stance. The hand that's on the hip is going to block, so since it's going to end up, it's going to start down for the block. So from the last down block, when you're asked to transition and show sangdang maki, the hand that's on the hip goes down, the hand that was down covers your face, and you block up, sangdang maki. The next block, this hand drops to cover your face, the hand that's on the hip is going to do the next block, reaches down, sangdang maki. Sangdang maki, upper block. So, that's it, out of riding horse stance. Just to review. 준비, Tae Kwon Do. Riding horse motion, punching attack with a right hand first. Aim with the left, set, punch. Tae, punch, Tae, punch, Tae. Hadan maki. Tae, hadan maki. Tae, Tae. Sangdang maki, upper block. Tae, Tae, Tae. 준비, Tae Kwon Do. That's it out of riding horse stance. Next, you'll do the same three techniques, the middle punch, the down block, and the upper block out of front stance. Okay, you'll be doing these techniques standing, facing the judges. You'll be moving towards the judges, turning away, moving away from the judges. It's the one time you turn your back. But just for the sake of review, let's assume that you're the judges and I'm back here getting ready to perform the techniques towards you. You've just done the motions out of riding horse stance, upper block, you're going to 준비, and now it's time to move forward. So, again, I'm doing a mirror version. You're going to use your left hand and your left foot first to step forward. That's down block will happen first, and you'll do it with your left side. So if we were all in a row together, it would look like this. I take my left hand up, I set and step to start moving forward with my left hand. But I'll start with a mirrored version. So here we go. Left hand, left foot, stepping, front stance, hadan maki, lower block. Then the next technique, the hand that's on the hip, again, always does the next technique, comes up to your ear, you cover yourself, you step, and at the end of the step, block with a key up. Set, breathe in, block, take, key up. Take. Now to turn around, your back leg is always going to move. And the hand that's on the hip always does the next technique. So it comes up to your ear, you cover, your back foot comes up, bounces off, and turns, take, into the next front stance. Take, take, take. Again, to turn around, it's like I'm against the wall, and I can't go any further. My front foot is gonna pivot, but my back foot does all the turning. I set, come, don't step, but bounce and step out into the next front stance. A good way to practice this at first is to get into a front stance with a down block. Facing one direction, I'm going to turn around and face the other direction. I know that the hand that's on the hip does the next technique. So it comes up to my ear, and I'm going to look over my shoulder and turn that direction. My back leg, essentially, it doesn't, but it essentially is just stepping around behind me, and then I open up into the front stance, facing exactly the opposite direction. That's a good way just to get a sense of your body motion and the turn. So the hand that comes up, I step over and turn with a block. The next step towards the correct technique is to do that, but instead of just stepping straight over, I'm going to come up and then over. So you kind of draw a V on the ground with your back leg. So I set for the block, I come up, come over, and then turn. And the third and final stage is the real technique. It's what you should all be doing. It's where you're gonna turn and step at the same time. So when I'm done moving this way and it's time to turn around, the hand that's on the hip comes up, I cover, I turn, and step and block at the same time. Take, take, take. That's hadan maki. Then from there, after a few, you might just go forward. The judges may ask you to go, you might just go forward. The judges might ask you to go forward and backwards with these techniques. But at some point, you'll be done with hadan maki, and you'll go to middle punch. So the hand that's on your hip is going to punch. The hand that just finished the last technique comes up to aim, and you aim at the middle for middle punch. If your hand is straight across, you're punching at your opponent's throat. I'm going to punch down just a little bit. So I'm done with the down block, and now it's time for Chungdang Gongyuk. I aim, step, punch. Aim, punch, aim, punch. When I turn around again, I'm always going to turn in down block. Aim, punch, aim, punch, aim, punch, turn around, down block. Now it's time for the third and final technique, Sangdang Maki. Just like when you were doing it in riding horse stance, the hand that finished the last block comes up to protect your face, while the hand that's on the hip goes down for the next technique. So it goes down, and you step and block with a key up. Comes down, sets, step, key up. Take. Now from here, to turn around, yellow belts, senior yellow belts, green belts, we're going to ask you to turn around in Sangdang Maki. We're going to ask you to do all kinds of blocks while you turn around. But white belts, the only turn you need to know is the down block, just to keep it simple. So you've just finished your Sangdang Maki. It's time to turn around. You're going to set for a down block, turn, and down block. And then maybe go back to upper block, upper block, upper block, turn, down block. That's it. So just like riding horse stance, you start with the punch and then go to down block and upper block. Moving forward in front stance, you're gonna start with the down block and then go to middle punch and then upper block. But the same three techniques, either out of riding horse stance or moving forward in front stance. And again, the turn is the trickiest part. If you get the turn down, then you're gonna be in great shape. That's it for the hand techniques. Now you go on to kicking. Kicking, you're gonna show off the three different kicks that you know. Up chagi, dolio chagi, and yup chagi. Up and yup sound, of course, very similar. Up is front, yup with a Y is side. But your target is always in front of you. So front kick, bam, step back. Front kick, bam, step back. Roundhouse kick, don't forget to turn your front foot over as you kick with your knee up, and roundhouse kick comes from the side. Pow! Roundhouse kick. Dolio chagi. Pow! Then yup chagi. Your bottom foot really has to turn, and your heel is up as your toes are down. And you turn and look at your target. Yup chagi. Each thing with a key up. When we ask you to switch, you literally just hop. Now you're on the other side. Your hands move next to each other, your feet move next to each other, switch with a key up. So you're gonna front kick on this side a couple times, switch, tape, front kick with the back leg on the other side a couple of times. Switch, tape, roundhouse kick, hey, a couple of times, switch, tape, roundhouse kick, couple of times, tape, same thing, front, round, side. Last but not least, you'll be moving with these kicks. To move, you're gonna kick with your back leg, kick, and then step forward. Now it's time for the other leg. Kick, step forward. We are gonna ask you to add a punch before the kicks. So when you step forward, when you get a fighting stance, one arm is naturally in front of the other arm. Whichever leg is forward, generally that hand is forward. So punch with that one first, keeping this backhand in guard. And then you switch. The backhand punches while the front hand comes back to guard. Then they both come back to guard as you step and kick. Punch, punch, kick, step forward. Punch, punch, kick, step forward. Switch. Which way am I going to turn? Punch, punch, kick, step forward. Punch, punch, kick, step forward. Punch, punch, kick, step forward. Switch. You'll do that with your front, round, and side. As a part of that, we may ask you to punch, punch, front, punch, punch, front, punch, punch, front. All key ups are on the kicks. Or we'll ask you to punch, punch, round, punch, punch, round, punch, punch, round. So you do all of these techniques on your own. There's just 3 kicks with the 2 punches between each one. So if a judge were to ask you punch, punch, front, punch, punch, round, punch, punch, side, punch, punch, front, punch, punch, round, punch, punch, side, turn around, tape. Now let's say they're all 3 the same. Punch, punch, front, punch, punch, front, punch, punch, front. Punch, punch, front, punch, punch, front, punch, punch, front. Turn around, tape. Chumbi, Tae Kwon Do. Final technique, board breaking. I have a piece of paper. Actually, a piece of paper is a good way to practice at home. If you hold a piece of paper and grip it and hold it out, if you can break through a piece of paper right in the middle, you can break through a board. The board holder should hold the edge of the board towards you, about head height, maybe a little bit lower. That's optimal for a hammer fist. Don't turn the board towards you. Don't drop it down too low. If you're getting ready to test for your technique and the board holder doesn't have the board exactly where you're hoping it would be, you can either move or you can grab the board and turn it or adjust the height to where you need to be and back up to do the technique. The board holders will figure it out. So here's the etiquette for board breaking. First, you pay attention to the judges. Chariat Kanye, to the judge that has your test paper. And then you face the board holder. Chariat Kanye. And then you get ready. Right? If you're gonna hammer fist, and a hammer fist is the same, if you were to pound your fist on the table, you're gonna contact the board with the same part of your hand. It's not a punch, it's a hammer fist, only from the side. So if you're gonna hammer fist with this hand, this leg goes out. You aim with the other hand. The hammer fist hand is palm out to your ear, elbow up and back, and you aim, pow! If you're gonna hammer fist with the other side, it comes up to your ear, elbow up and back, you aim. Of course, the opposite leg is forward. If your target is right in front of you, you don't want to snap and pop at the target. You want to go through the target, and not just through the target, but through the target. So you aim, you set, back, pow, with a key up. Get ready, face the board holder, chariot, face the judges, chariot. The board holder will hand you your board and you walk backwards to where you need to be and sit down until you get called up. Now it's time for the one-on-one interview. The judges will call you up. Yes, sir. Run up. Step back just a little bit. They're going to ask you a variety of questions. They could ask you, what country is Taekwondo from? Can you count to 10 in Korean? Show me different techniques. Show me hadan maki. Tae. Show me dolyochagi. Tae. You'll need to know upper, middle, and lower. Sangdang, chungdang, hadan. You'll need to know block, maki. You'll need to know punch, gongyok. You'll need to know kicking, chagi. Up chagi, front kick. Dolio chagi, roundhouse kick. Yup chagi with a Y, side kick. Up and yup sound similar, but up is front, yup is side. You'll need to know your mother's birthday. Everyone should know that. Adults, you'll need, if you're married, to know your anniversary date. They're just going to question you. After the terminology, the judges are going to review the home rules and cover the notes that your parents have given, things that you need to work on or things that you've done a great job with. If you have a copy of your school report card, we'd love for you to attach the school report card to the test form. And the judges are going to cover the school performance as well. Grades, teacher comments, all of that will be discussed at the table with the judges. Taekwondo is about more than just punching and kicking. Taekwondo is about being a good citizen. So the home rules and the school report cards are all a part of that. We want to make sure that you're on your best behavior and maturing and developing as a human being, not only in the class, but outside of the class as well. At the end of the interview, you're going to bow to the judge, take a step back from the table, bow again, and then walk backwards to your place and sit and wait for everyone to be done. You'll stand up, you'll attention, kanye, and that will be your test. I'm sure by now you're all prepared. White belts, your first test is the most difficult. There's a lot of pressure, but the pressure is a part of the practice. You're going to get better just by testing. It's not only a chance to show off, it's a chance for you to develop your skills under that pressure so that you can make them the best that they can be and make yourself the best that you can be. So good luck. I look forward to seeing you all soon. Take care.